What up, you guys? It's Blackwing2040. Today is Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for another Retro Throwback! Today's Retro Throwback is going to be on one of the most popular superhero cartoons and a pop culture icon in that fact. Today's Retro Throwback is going to be on the one and only X-Men, the 90s X-Men cartoon. And this show, I have to say, it's one of the best X-Men cartoons out there. It's really the best out of the three. And I didn't watch it while it was airing, but thank God I was able to experience it, as I grew up. They had reruns of it on ABC Family and on Toon Disney, and it is by far one of the best X-Men shows ever made. So this show aired from 1992 to 1997 on the Fox Kids network. The show had 76 episodes. The first two seasons had 13 episodes. Season 3 had 19. Season 4 had 17. And Season 5 had 14 episodes. So the starting lineup for this particular X-Men show, you have Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Storm, Gambit, Beast, Jubilee, Jean Grey, and Professor X. And the designs of the X-Men were definitely based off of Jim Lee's X-Men Volume 2 cover. You know, that big, famous X-Men cover that has all the X-Men in it. And this show is just by far incredible that it's so groundbreaking. It set the tone. Heck, it broke the barrier for what's to come for Marvel in cartoons and in their films. If it wasn't for this cartoon, we wouldn't have gotten the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, the 90s Iron Man, the 90s Incredible Hulk series. We wouldn't have gotten the 90s Marvel cartoons that we know and love. And plus, this show also inspired the idea for the 90s for the X-Men film franchise. Of course, we know how that turned out, but still, if it wasn't for this cartoon, we wouldn't have gotten the X-Men film franchise anyway. Now, what makes this show so popular is that it dives into the X-Men's history, adapting so many famous storylines like Days of Future Past, the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga, the first 3 issues of Jim Lee's X-Men story, the Phalanx Covenant, Age of Apocalypse, and so many more story arcs. And it's just by far, this show really decided to make me read, the X-Men comic books, and they adapted these stories to a T, and that's what makes this show so groundbreaking. And going back to characters, besides the main lineup of characters, there's also a fair share of, other mutants that make appearances, like Colossus, Iceman, Nightcrawler, Archangel, Banshee, Psylocke, who else? Havoc, Polaris. There's a whole slew of characters that make appearances throughout the X-Men history, and also a fair share of characters from the solo history as well. When I mean solo history, I'm referring to Wolverine. For instance, you have the Weapon X team with Sabretooth, Maverick, and Silver Fox. You have Alpha Flight, which is basically a Canadian-based team in Canada. Think of Alpha Flight as like the Canada version of the Avengers. And as far as for the villains, of course, you have Magneto, you have Mystique, Juggernaut, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, you have Toad, you have Pyro, Blob, just so many more. And of course, the Sentinels and Master Mold and Mojo. It's just so groundbreaking. It's just so awesome on how the show decides to just go in with their storytelling. And when I mean goes in, it goes in. There's episodes that will make you cheer, that will make you just have your jaw dropping. There are episodes that will make you cry. This show goes there with its storytelling, and it really does so well. And as far as how great the show is, I can't really say what my favorite episode is because there's just so many. But if I do have to say what particular ones, I would definitely have to say the focus episodes on Nightcrawler are definitely by far one of my favorite episodes, because this show definitely goes in with religion, with the the civil rights between humans and mutants. It goes in on that. And the reason why I like Nightcrawler's episode so much is because back in that time, they were allowed to use so many factors like, you know, religion and race and so many other things. And I love how at the end of the episode, Nightcrawler gives Wolverine a Bible. And it kind of gives Wolverine the aspect, you know, to get back into his faith. And that's just so incredible. I love that. As a Christian, that's just beautiful storytelling right there. And I don't know what else to say besides the fact that there were so many characters, so many cameos, and so many just epic moments. This show just really broke the mold for, you know, 90s television as a whole. And of course, later on, you know, in the other shows, the X-Men do end up making a team-up appearance in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon called, in the two-part episode, The Mutant Agenda. And it's a really cool two-parter as well, if I might add. It's really cool. And one thing I also forgot to mention, Morph, who's part of the X-Men. Morph is basically like a mutant who could shapeshift into anybody. He's basically Mystique. He's kind of like Mystique in a way. And the crazy thing is about Morph, he doesn't show up in the intro, but he shows up in the first episode, and after that, he's dead. Well, not quote unquote dead, but if you watch the show, you'll find out what happens to him. But other than that, it's really just one of the best Marvel cartoons ever made. And before I continue, I wanted to, you know, take a salute to Norm Spencer, who was the voice of Cyclops in the X-Men cartoon, and as well in the Marvel vs. Capcom video games from way back in the day. So, to Norm Spencer, rest in peace, good sir. Thank you for giving us such a groundbreaking voice of Cyclops. So, with that being said, guys, in the comment section below, what did you love about the 90s X-Men cartoon? Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite episode? Who was your favorite villain in the show? Just overall, what did you love about the X-Men cartoon? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click that bell to be notified. And as always, I am Vengeance, I am Darkness, I am Blackwing. Stay golden.